What is up, all you ICBA type people? This is Tom. I'm here bringing you guys a very late Week 1 upload for this season, the 4th season of the ICBA. In this Week 1 battle, we'll be going up against Flame Horizon and his Golden State Golducks, I think was his team name. That thumbnail will tell you what the team name was. But I'm very excited to kick off the season, bring you guys this battle. This was probably the latest upload of the weekly upload, just because life and work have been pretty hectic, trying to balance everything out as well as get these battles done week to week for the actual league. So I'm going to jump right into it. If you haven't seen kind of like my team breakdown, check out the last video that I uploaded. I'll kind of break down what I picked and where I chose it and kind of why. So in case you're interested, when you look at this team that I brought, we see his team, his 6 that he brought, but the team he had full access to was Greninja Protean version. We had Infernape, Celebi, Flygon, Cloyster, Electros, Mega Audino, Scizor, Kecleon, Unmon, the Mudbray, and Golbat. His Z users for all Z moves were Infernape and Electros, and his pretty much offensive only Z user was Flygon. Looking at his team, when we were going through the breakdown in the pre-match and kind of in the mocks and everything, the biggest issues I was coming across were pretty much Infernape, because I had very few, if any, switch-ins based on the type of Infernape it was. However, Scarf seemed most likely. Greninja also had its problems, especially if it was if it was Scarfed, it could be sort of manageable, but HP Fire, Surf, Dark Pulse could be somewhat of an issue, as well as U-Turn for Pivot. I really had no switch-ins to Scizor, as in, depending on what move it clicked, I could bring in something that could, you know, not be too KO'd, but something like a Banded Bullet Punch or a Sword Stance Bullet Punch would pretty much fly through the roast of my team if I don't provide the right amount of bulk into certain things. And we also saw some other things. Kecleon in my mocks gave me a little bit of an issue, so seeing it here in Team Preview isn't all that surprising. I know what to expect in terms of what it can do, whether it can Stealth Rock as a priority, with like Fake Out Shadow Sting, Sucker Punch, and of course Drain Punch was also giving me a hard time in my mocks as well. I was surprised to see Celebi as well as Electros. In the mocks I was seeing things like Cloyster and Mega Audino, but I suppose that Electros and Celebi provide a better backbone than those two do. So going over my team, I'm not going to talk about the Mon specifically because this was kind of a weird match, and you'll see why. But I have a offensive presence of Genesect, Mega Medicham, Tornadus, Komodo, then I have 2 kind of supportive backbones being Persian and Polion. This is a very me team for a lot of you who haven't seen matches before, but I do like a lot of pivot. I like a lot of opportunity to get my mons in to annoy yours. I don't really like your traditional bulk. I like more of a pivot, offensive type playstyle more than a laid back, long-term, you know, play style. So we're gonna hop into the match, and you'll kind of see my thinking as we go throughout the match. I was going to lead off with Persian just because it was my best lead in case he leads off something like Electros or Celebi or even Kecleon. I know I can something like Parting Shot out, even go for knockoff depending on what exactly he leads with. So we're gonna hop right into the match, and right from the get-go, looking at what he had brought, you know, across his 6, Persian is my best lead. So I'm going to lead with it. And as the animations catch up, I see he leads up with Celebi, right? And I know for a fact here I can go for a knockoff. You can see here, I thought maybe he'd go for a U-turn. Maybe he would hard switch out. I could catch something like an Electros and get rid of its like an Assault Vest, or even Kecleon get rid of its Assault Vest. But instead of knock off its leftovers as he goes for Toxic. Now here, the Toxic's going to be annoying because it's going to, you know, nullify the leftovers that I have on this Persian. But what I can do here is I can taunt. And looking at his team as a whole, this thing is the only viable Stealth Rock user, unless he's running some sort of Infernape set that has Stealth Rocks, but I assume if that was the case, he would lead off with it. It would be like a Sash Endeavor in Polion, or not Polion, Infernape, which doesn't seem likely in terms of what that could do in this match. So I taunt this, shut down its rocks. Yeah, I did get Toxic, kind of sucked, but we see hard switches, so that suggests he probably doesn't have U-turn. So I'm gonna Parting Shot here, expecting him to switch out. Didn't think Infernape is what he would switch out to, but I did expect to switch of some nature. I actually somewhat expected Electros here, so I Parting Shot out, and I go right into Tornadus. Now this Tornadus is going to be a Scarf variant, because this is going to be my safety blanket to the combination of Scarf, Protean Greninja, as well as Infernape. It's bulky enough to take hits from Greninja, and as well as kind of U-turn out and get off some big damage in case it, you know, stays in something like that, but also as Air Slash for Infernape. So I'm going to U-turn out as he brings in Electros. And this brings me into my killer. And he, as well as I, kind of admit this, that every time Mega Medicham came in, based on its moveset, which was Drain Punch, Ice Punch, Fire Punch, Fake Out, I just claimed a KO. Now he does bring in Electros, and we see here I'm going to go for Fake Out. I believe I was adamant for this match, or I was just Jolly Max Attack, which even with Pure Power does a whole lot of damage. Fake Out does just about, a quarter, but I know Drain Punch is going to knock him out, and that claims me a kill right there. So Electros has gone down, which means that he's probably going to bring in something like Infernate, maybe even Greninja or Scissor. But instead he brings in the Kecleon. I thought he would go of an offensive approach, but seeing what this did in my mocks with like Fake Out, Shadow Sneak, Sucker Punch, I knew what it would do here. So I do go into Persian, as I expect him to go for something like Shadow Sneak or Protect, seeing what the Mega Medicham has. I know I was seeing Protect because of High Jump Kick, so this thing was kind of like a pseudo wall for it. And Shadow Sneak to kind of bypass any sort of fighting stab. So I go for Parting Shot. I'm not really going to stay into this, against this, because I expect something like Drain Punch or Brick Break to come out here. Some sort of fighting move to hit the Alolan Persian. So I go right out into Tornadus, as he's going to show Brick Break. I think Drain Punch was a better fit here, mostly because I feel like it gave this Kecleon more longevity, assuming it was an Assault Vest set. But Brick Break works as well. He does go for Sucker Punch. Now, I was very tempted here to go for U-turn, but in case he went for like Shadow Sneak, I figured Air Slash was best for stab and all that. I don't think U-turn would have done all that much more. I just wanted to get off some damage and kind of see what this thing is. And now, based on that damage, I can tell you that it's probably, and most likely, Assault Vest. I'm going to go into Komodo here, as he went for Drain for the Brick Break, not seeing it did that much damage, and Sucker Punch against the Tornadus. I'm going to go right for a Dragon Dance. Now, this was a little bit risky with him going into Scissors. I don't know what this is. This could be Swords Dance. If it's Swords Dance, he would get a +2 and Bullet Punch. That would pretty much kill me. But instead, he does U-turn out. If he went for Bullet Punch here, which we can see here that he is banded, I'm probably dead. 2 Bullet Punches would probably knock me out, even through, the bulk that I put into this Komodo. But instead, I just kind of let this thing take the damage. He does U-turn out, expecting me to switch out into something, whether he expected Empoleon, whether he expected Tornadus. Regardless, I'm going to stay in. I'm at +1 attack and +1 speed. He goes for a combination of Fake Out plus Shadow Sneak. The Fake Out crit sort of sucked, but I'm living both of them anyway. But I'm going to go for my Z move. The Z move was actually intended for the combination of either Cloyster or the Mega Audino. This, a +1 Z Iron Tail would, I believe, have a very likely chance to knock out a Mega Audino, especially if it was like max defense, which seemed likely for this matchup. But looking at his team as a whole, I figured steel moves aren't really all that effective because Celebi resists it, Kecleon will die, Scissor resisted, Infernate, Electros, and Greninja all resist that. Fair, just knock out Kecleon here. I'm at +1, and that's pretty much that. He's going to knock me out here with Bullet Punch, but knowing that he does knock me out here, I looked at all the calcs. This confirmed that he was banded, because otherwise I would see Life Orb if he obviously was a Life Orb variant, but this allows me to go into Persian, and this will allow me to knock off to get rid of the Choice Band, which does allow Tornadus in the back to be a win con, as well as Mega Medicham, because now I know that he can knock me out. I will outspeed him. The Bullet Punch is going to do upwards of maybe 60%, but it's not going to be able to knock me out with the Priority Technician, Stab, plus the Choice Band. So I knock off, and I'm going to go for Parting Shot here, as I believe he goes for a U-turn. I don't really see what else he would go for, because he does kind of need the initiative. He's a little bit on the back foot here, as he's lost his 2 walls, and now every time Mega Medicham comes in, it's pretty much something's going to die, especially if it's facing either the Celebi, the Scizor, or if Greninja is locked into something, assuming it's scarfed into a move that doesn't super effectively hit the Mega Medicham. He U-turns out, as I believe I do the same. Or we're just blind here. I'm gonna hard switch, because the way that he brings us in kind of suspects to me like he's a Scarf variant, and I really didn't want to mess with that. I know that if he Scarf Ice Beam, he would knock out Tornadus to the point where that was I need that sort of as a win con, especially for Infernate. So I didn't really want to do that. I am going to go into Persian here. I am going to allow him to knock me out. This Persian was actually a knockoff Parting Shot, Taunt, and I believe T-Bolt set. T-Bolt was for if the the Cloyster goes for a Shell Smash or just Raw, like as he's going to Smash, I'd be able to get off some really, really solid damage, as well as if an Icicle Crash from full. or Icicle Spear, I should say, and knock him out with T-Ball just because Cloyster's Spidef is, let's see, shit. Now, this is the weird part. Alright, so we get to the end as he knocks me out with Surf plus Dark Pulse. That knocks out my Persian. That puts us down to 4-4. Then I go into Mega Medicham, and he has to run because the time in which we battled pretty much gave him like a 20-minute window to battle amongst his schedule. This means that I catered to him. We tried to work around each other's schedules between work and all that, and unfortunately he didn't have the time really to finish out the battle. But let me give you a brief synopsis of what would happen. Assuming he said it was an E-Belt Greninja, he would have to go for Dark Pulse and, be able to get off about 60% to my Mega Medicham. Assuming he didn't flinch with the Dark Pulse, I'd be able to knock him out, Drain Punch, get all my HP back. That would put him into either Scissor, realistically, to either Revenge, or otherwise get off some damage, you turn out, pivot into Infernape, in which case I would then be able to click something like Fire Punch, or something along the, or even just Drain Punch outright, because, I outspeed Celebi because I am max speed, and based on the damage from the knockoff, I assume he was max HP and max defense, so I'd be able to outspeed, go for Fire Punch, or just hard switch out, which then allows me to have 4 more Mons. Oh my god, disappear. Let me have 4 more Mons to then be able to, or 3 more Mons to be able to take on his 3 other Mons. Genesect was a win con, Empoleon was a check to Infernape, and then Tornadus was a Scarf variant to kind of be a coverall for everything else. So, in other words, I was pretty much set up to win for this match. I'm a little bit upset that he didn't finish the match, mostly because I believe that sort of robbed Mega Medicham, Genesect, or Tornadus from getting certain accolades in terms of kills for the kill leaderboard, but that's neither here nor there. I got a 4-0 win, so we'll take that. Good game, Flame. I wish you were around long enough to complete the battle, but hey, time is time, and unfortunately we all don't have it. So, good game to you, man. Unfortunately, after this match, however, he did end up dropping. I believe Root took over for him, and that was already announced on the ICBA Twitter, so you'll see him in the future. Best of luck to Flame for whatever you're doing, and hopefully your life gets a little bit easier to sort out, and hopefully I'll play you in some later matches. So that's gonna be our first game. It's not the most interesting game, but I was kind of glad to see how the team functioned in terms of very pivot intensive. I was able to get some good effective setup with Komodo, a mon that I'm very familiar and very comfortable with using, as well as seeing how powerful Mega Medicham is and how annoying potentially Persian can be. So I'm excited to use this team. I like what it offers. It has some holes, but they're manageable, and I have the assistance in the back with people who I mock and build with, as well as my own experience in the meta to be able to adjust to any sort of issues that are faced by the team. So hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think, and I will be back soon with my week 2 match, which will be against Matt O'Shea. O'Shea, I'm going to go with, and his Montreal Melodics. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys soon.